Hello, my name is Michael. I'm volunteer of Uniters Fund, and there is my guest Christina, and it's our first podcast in our life. So uh, it will be in English, and I think there will be Ukrainian and Polish subtitles on YouTube. So Christina, how are you?
Well, I'm very excited. A historic moment for three of us.
Yeah, and how can you say about your family, about you? Because we had a small talk before this podcast, and you mentioned that you're from Australia.
Yes, we've come a long way. We were very inspired as a family by the work Unitas is doing. Historically, my family, my Jadek was from Warsaw
Mm-hmm.
and he was killed in the Warsaw Uprising. My mother was from Vilna, which is now Vilnius. They moved to Australia and I felt very connected to what you are all going through. So, as a family, my daughter, son, and husband, we decided to come and volunteer because sometimes we can send money, we know that, but sometimes coming and seeing, and so you see us and know that we want to connect with you, and we're just incredibly in awe of the resilience of your people, and I think the polls also demonstrate that in after World War II, and you are doing it now, and you're not alone. That was very important for us. That I'll get emotional.
Uh,
That you're very brave people.
and you too, because for I think from Ukrainians it's really important to see support not from border countries like Poland,
Yes,
Slovakia, but also from other continents such far away like Australia.
yes,
And I think this podcast will be interesting for Ukrainians to see real support
yes.
from all over the world. And you're really a
We're along.
superhero.
Yes,
You did a really long way to come to Warsaw.
yeah.
And how did it take? Like 20 hours?
Yeah, just it's over 20 hours worth every hour. And just we're just so impressed with how you're pulling together, and we want to, when we go home, we'd like to show people photos so we can say, look, please support the amazing work you're doing. I mean, the packs that you're making and the comfort you're giving to your people here, and we'd love to continue supporting that even though we're a long way away. We're still one.
It's really amazing
Mm.
because for me, I can't imagine that something went wrong in Australia and how can I help because it's too far away. But you show us that it's really not hard. Maybe
No.
maybe it's hard, but you know it's real. It's you can realize it in life.
Yes, and I don't know how everyone in Ukraine feels about Zelensky, but certainly from an Australian point of view, he has done a great job in making sure what's happening to you is always in the news. He works very hard, and it's made people really connect with your country because you all seem so brave together. Because that's a hell of an opponent you've got there, and what you're going through, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I can agree with you that maybe from all for all world, yeah, Zelensky show a good like show Ukraine
Yes,
represented
yes,
because it's impossible that country will be represented by thousands people, but
yes,
in political from political
yes.
aspect it's good.
He certainly seems to have a lot of credibility, certainly in our country. Our Prime Minister and our politicians are very much in awe of the strength he's showing in wanting to make sure that Ukraine stays independent, and he's uniting it. That's certainly what we're seeing from our country, and it certainly we felt very very compelled to want to come because when you've got people on the world stage standing up and saying, look, we've got to make sure we keep this in the media
Hmm.
because it's easy, so much happens in the world, but this, we just wanted to make sure that when we go home we can still say, look, they need us until the end. You need us. Everyone has to pull together.
Yeah, that's true. First, I want to ask you about your family because we know that you're not alone.
No.
in Warsaw. And can you tell something about it? It's a
Yeah, of
really nice
course.
story.
Yeah, well, my husband, who was a professor of surgery in Newcastle, my daughter's a social worker, my son's also in the helping profession, my son in law is an occupational therapist, and I'm a social worker. So we as a family said we all are coming together. And it's been an incredibly bonding moment. I suggest to every family member
Hmm.
who families, if you want to do something special, do something like this. Don't just travel for a holiday, make an impact in another way. So we're very grateful that you've given us this opportunity to as a family to work together with the Ukrainians.
Yeah, because it's really important when parents show their kids how to volunteer, how to do spend time together, and it's really nice members for all your life.
Yes, yes, this will be remembered for generations.
Yeah.
You know, we'll always talk about it, and I'm hoping that if my children have children, they'll do something like this.
And
And
how?
wouldn't it be amazing if we all did this as families?
Yeah. And how long are you in Warsaw?
Well, we're leaving Monday, so
Mm-hmm.
this is our last day at United. So this is a lovely way to end our journey here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've been here 2 weeks, and it's been incredible. I can't believe the resilience and the hard work you all put in. I admire you enormously.
Yeah. But oh, can you say about your Polish? Because it's also interesting that you are living far away from Poland,
Yes, tak,
but you have Polish roots,
tak.
and to say how you keep your Polish, like, I don't say culture, language in your in personal life.
Yes,
It will be also interesting because in Ukraine we have a problem that many people don't know really well Ukrainian, or because Russia tried to destroy our
yes,
language, culture, and
yes,
now it's really important for us to renew our culture, language, traditions,
yes,
and as you know, like more than 5-6 million Ukrainians escaped from the country because
yes.
of war, and most of them won't come back, and they will need to save their language, culture, far away from motherland.
Absolutely. And I think my mother is 93.
Wow.
She still feels Polish. It never dies with you. I mean, you will die a Polak or a Ukrainian, even though you're living in another country. And I think that's a lot of people don't understand how important it is to have some connection. And as a child, my first language was Polish in Australia. And then, but we always had a Polish club, we had Polish friends. And to this day, we still have connections. We have visited Poland once before to see graves of grandparents, like my Stasha Owasin, which is my grandfather lying in the cemetery here. Um, I don't know. I've got a lot of pride being Polish, and I've made sure my children know that they're half Polish, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to be culturally connected. We're all humans, but it's really lovely to be able to learn from each other. And the Ukrainian culture is so deep and powerful. You must never forget it. Always remember you're Ukrainian and be proud of that. Even though people try and strip that away from you, in your heart you'll know.
It's really nice to hear about culture, and it's really you show like good examples that to save your nationality, it's normal that if you live in not in Poland but you feel Polish, and it's normal, and because many people make mistakes and think that it's nationalism to feel Ukrainian, not in Ukraine, or feel Ukrainian from like in Canada, that it's not okay, but you show us that to save identity, it's normal.
Of course, and have pride in that identity. But you can still, even though you're not in the same country, you can still uh, be very patriotic to the country you're living in,
Mm-hmm.
but also have some deep roots to who's made you a person, who makes you're culturally interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, if you young men have children in the future, you must promise that they know about your culture and you're never ashamed of it, because that's where, we've all come from somewhere, and we can add to the new countries we're in, as we have in Australia. My mother, even though she's always going to be Polish, I still feel very proud to be an Australian Polish person.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
nice. And I agree with you that in personally, I will try. I don't know where I'm planning to live, Poland,
Mm.
Ukraine, or other country,
Mm.
but I always keep my identity for my kids to show
Yes,
that you're also Ukrainians. Be proud of it,
yes,
and it's normal if they will born in Poland. They won't. I don't imagine how they won't be patriots of Poland because they are Polish but
absolutely.
with Ukrainian roots.
Well, I'm the example. Born in Australia, but I feel Polish, and I'm proud to have both cultures. And I think also the Poles and Ukrainians have what they share is they're very, very resilient
Hmm.
cultures. So that has to be good for your children's future.
Hmm.
Show resilience. Because
Hmm.
your parents now, your grandparents, my parents, grandparents have gone through such tragedy. You're going through it now. I mean, I can't imagine how you both feel
Mm.
about what's happening to your lives.
Yeah, it's a hard question because I don't. We are volunteers and we are trying to
Mm.
help to Ukraine as much as possible, like doing such podcasts
Yes.
to show people how it's going on, how they
Mm.
can help, uh, to show example,
Mm.
because many people need to see like real example
I
of
agree.
other person
Yes.
who is doing something, and we are trying to show it. To give good example for other people and
Yes.
motivate them also to do volunteer.
Yes. Your English is great, by the way.
uh, Maybe, but I'm a bit of stress because it's a really interesting experience.
Mm.
And I want to ask, do you have you ever been in Ukraine, or do you have Ukrainian friends?
Yes, we had Ukrainian friends in Australia. My mother did, but I didn't really know them. So I didn't know much about Ukraine at all.
Hmm.
Mm.
And have you ever meet Ukrainians in Australia, maybe diaspora or migrants?
Yes, yes, through the Polish club, and there were Ukrainians that would come, and but not
Mm.
many at all.
Oh, yeah,
And now in Australia, very few Polacks come. I think there's only 44,000 left in Australia.
Poles.
Yes, yes, that we used to, and that's because as living conditions have improved here post communism, why would you leave? They're very happy. It's great.
Yeah, it's great that
It's really
people.
good. I love Poland. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I um I want to ask about like maybe like
Mm.
political question.
Yes.
Uh, how what Australians think about Ukraine, about this war, Ukrainians as people? Do they help Ukraine or not? Because it's really interesting to hear it.
Uh, okay, so again, what we know is what we see when Zelensky is on the world stage. I think everyone is just in shock that this
Hmm.
is now happening. I think, from my point of view, I would love to see a lot more action by the world players helping more faster. Because I worry the more it drags out for you, the harder it's going to be because of what Russia's doing now. So on the world scale, I think everyone thinks you're all incredibly brave. I think it's really important that we do give people other opportunities to know how to help, because they'll go, well, what do we do? Now we can go back and say, look, here's Uniters, send them money. This is what they do with it. It's real. We've seen it. And I think that hopefully will help as well. Ali and her husband are already going to do a little podcast as well at home
Hmm.
and send out to all their Instagram friends and people they know. So hopefully we'll get a little tidal wave in Australia that will come back here. So again, we'll unite again that way.
Yeah, I kind of said it's really hard to help Ukraine from Australia because uh, to send like packages with stuff. It's no sense because far away,
No,
long time.
no. You need money, and if you come to volunteer, make sure you don't need anything, that you can just come and do it. So I think you have to be independent to volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you get in the way. So I think that's really important for people to think, oh, they'll just come and just hang around. But I think now we know where you really need money, like with Paul, because he's got some medical connections.
Mm-hmm.
We can certainly try and get more money towards those fantastic first aid kits that you're doing. So it's been really good for us to see what we can target by in terms of fundraising for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're going to be really promoting at home.
Yeah, it's true, and it's really nice because if you have motivation to continue to help Ukraine, it's
Yes.
really great, and it's really, I think, warm words for every Ukrainian is that for us it's really important to hear that people really care about us, um, because you know fighting with Russia it's really hard because it's impossible to compare Ukraine and Russia.
Absolutely.
And we know and we hear that simple people, not politicians, uh, speaking about Ukraine, helping Ukraine in every possible way, it's really important because we don't feel that we are alone in this war.
I'm so glad, because that's what we really wanted to physically come and say, look, we, touch us, we're here. We really do care, and even though it was worth all the hours coming, because we've come back every night to the hotel just absolutely so admiring your courage and determination and resilience. I mean, as young people, you're incredible. Your parents should be very proud of you. Your country should be very proud of you, because you're not sitting at home. You're actually coming and saying, look, we're doing something. Imagine if we all did it.
Excuse me?
Imagine if everyone did something.
Yeah.
Little, even one thing.
That's true. That's really true. It's to make great things. You don't need to have big money.
No.
The main thing is to have motivation.
Yes,
Motivation is uh, the most important thing. And I also want to ask you, how did you meet Uniters? Like, because you're from Australia, this is a Ukrainian fund in Poland, like
Yes.
organization
Yes.
far away. It's really interesting to hear about
How I found you.
Yeah.
So I did a search because I knew I wanted to be in Varsava. So I just went on the web and I said I wanted to have help an organization that only was focusing on Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some of the others do Polish as well, but we really wanted to I suppose be more focused on the Ukrainian situation. So basically, we just did some research, and Unitas came up, and it just sounded amazing. We couldn't believe it when we were seeing what you were doing. I said, impossible! All these young people doing this amazing stuff, and here we are, and it's exactly as it is on the Facebook, Instagram. It's magnificent, and all your faces. I feel like we're meeting all the superstars.
Yeah, that's true because here in center you can see like elder people like after 60, 70,
Yeah, like
they are
me.
also volunteers, like youth, kids,
Yes,
everyone,
yes.
and it's really nice.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's just the incredible. I have to say, the welcome we have had has been just wonderful. Very grateful.
It's I think it's really nice that you can unite all generations,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's really amazing when young people teach elder people and elder people teach.
Yeah.
It's like exchange of minds.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly what I've seen. The respect you all have for each other is incredible. So I really admire you all.
So for us, I think such podcast I hope will motivate as much people to volunteer to do charity stuff.
But you've hit the nail on the head. You're never too old and you're never too young.
Yeah.
If you believe you can do good, go and do it. Because a life with meaning is a life. Without meaning, it's there's so much depression, I think, and problems in the world because people aren't looking what they can do for each other. I think that's been missing. But here, oh look, there's so much meaning. Come and volunteer.
Mhm.
Send money.
Yeah. Sometimes money really important.
Money's very important.
Important.
Yes, especially in a situation like this. So yeah, send money.
Yeah, that's true. If you don't have time to do it physically, send
Yes,
money.
yeah, but even to buy bread to feed someone bread is one of the most powerful
Mhm.
images in life, isn't it? So if you can feed someone with a loaf of bread, buy the bread. Send the money to buy the bread. Send to Unitas.
Yeah, because we are students of Warsaw University, and we have like youth initiatives connected with students to help Ukraine. And every time I want to know to say other people that okay, we are all students, we are poor. Like as
Of
every
course,
student,
it is.
it's
Yes.
normal, and to help Ukraine to do great stuff, you don't need money. You need we are youth. We have good health. We don't have
Mm.
regular problems with health. We are motivated. We have a lot of free time. So just come to center and ask what can I do? How can I
Absolutely.
help? And it's easy.
And you need it. Like, there is so much to constantly do because things are coming in and going out. And across the line. Like, it's incredible to know that we're packing things and then the next day they're actually in Ukraine helping soldiers and people suffering. Oh, it's you can't get realer than that. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe do you want to say something for Ukrainians in Ukraine or Ukrainian youth?
Sure. One of the take homes always is believe in yourself. I think that is, don't be frightened of life. Be frightened of not doing something because I think that is going to be a lot worse for you if you don't step forward. I'm not saying do something dangerous, but something to help someone else in this crisis will make your life more powerful and you as an individual more powerful. I learned that through my parents. They came to Australia, they had nothing. They came with $1.
Wow.
They had no English and they were treated not very well in Australia then after World War II. So it's very isolating, it's scary. But once you grasp the fear and move forward, I'm first generation Australian, and our life is very successful because our parents said there isn't anything you can't do. If you
Mm-hmm.
believe in it, you can do it. So I know it's scary, but it's worth trying for your futures because you've got a future. You've got to believe that. And we didn't think we had a future, but here I am, 60, nearly 3 years old, telling you you can, you do get through these things and you get through them better if you put your foot forward, not back.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go backwards because that never helps. If I look at the differences between who's done well in, say, Australia from Polacks after war, reminiscing
Mm-hmm.
is important for a time, but there has to be a time you get help and move forward because you can't go back, unfortunately. And that's what Unitas is trying to do, I think, is help people move forward by providing opportunities to say, look, well, this is something we can actively, productively do together. That we're not just going, oh, this is terrible. No, it is terrible, but here's another box.
Mm-hmm.
It is terrible, but here's another loaf of bread. I mean, it's phenomenal, and that's really contagious, and that's, congratulations on what you're doing now.
And yes, and also thank you because you're also volunteer. You're also helping Ukraine. You're doing great stuff. For me, it's really hard to imagine that you decided to come to Warsaw with all your family, visit us, volunteer, and uh, you're also visited center not just one day but few days. Uh, I don't know really how many days did you visit us, but you do it a lot. Every time when I visit center, I see you. So it's really amazing. And for us, it's also amazing. And I hope that such podcasts such examples as your family will motivate young people, also not only from Ukraine, to help and to do charity scenes. And
It's been a great privilege for our family, I can assure you, a great privilege to be with you all on this journey, even though we're only here for a short time. I think hopefully we'll do it more regularly as a family as well.
yeah, that's true, because from I remember my family and my when my mom went for volunteer centers, or something connected with charity initiatives,
Yes,
they always brought me.
yes,
And I remember such culture from my like childhood. Like
yes.
I don't remember like from 2 3 years of my life, and for me it's normal, and I can't live without it.
I know it is. It gets in your soul and it feeds your soul. That's what I feel sad for people who don't have what we have, because it just makes you feel alive and purpose. Gives you purpose.
And when you mentioned about past,
Mm.
about a story, history of your family in Australia, I think it's really important for young people to analyze your past, um, to understand that when you are doing your future, you need to remember your past, but not live in the past.
Absolutely. Always, yes, you acknowledge and obviously it's part of your history, which is important, but equally important is that you have a future, and a future that could be good. It'll be different, it might be harder, but it's still a future that can have something really meaningful for you at the end. And I think that's all we can all hope for. And look at these exchanges. Like, I've learned so much from you. It's from both of you and your skills. It's phenomenal.
We will see on the video how is
Yes.
how is
As long
how
as
it
I
was.
look young and beautiful.
Okay, I think we can end our talk. It
Yes.
was we hope that we will do it fast. We will cut some bad moments, and it
What
will
bad moments?
no bad moments. Everything was amazing, great. I,
Thank you for the opportunity, both of you. Thank you.
I also thank you that you visited us. We recorded such video, and I strongly invite you to Ukraine, visit Ukraine. Maybe after war, but
Definitely.
I think after war I also will be in Ukraine, and I will personally ask you, because it's
That would
amazing.
be
You
beautiful.
should visit our country to see our culture, architecture, nature, and of course cuisine.
Oh,
Ukrainian.
absolutely. And I extend a welcome to you as well. If you come to Australia and come and see all our wildlife, the kangaroos,
Oh, yeah.
it's our national symbol.
Can you say about this patch a bit?
So this is an army patch, an Australian army patch, and the kangaroo, of course, is our national symbol, which is part of the army patches that are given out to soldiers.
So it's really interesting. I
So
was
that is
surprised.
our little addition to your amazing wall.
So thank you very much,
Thank
and
you.
I wish you a good day, and thank you for this conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.